Hey guys, what's up? From this video I'm starting a new video series, Git, or we can say version control system. So in this video series we will learn all the Git basics, means all the command which required for developer for development purpose. Plus we will learn about the Git pages, Git hooks, Git actions, means all the CI/CD related thing also. Plus we will see how to do the collaborations and how to do open source kind of project. We will discuss about Git and GitHub scenario and differences between them also. So first question is, what is version control and why we required version control it also? Guys, as we know, we are developing in a project, not single person, multiple developer, right? And these developer also are sitting on different location also. So we need a system who can manage or who can track our file, who can maintain the history of file. Today I changes something and might be 2 days before actually somebody else changed it. Whatever the changes somebody did, we can actually track it, we can find out, we can write down the comment, we can review it also, and even we can merge for the production and for the different environment. And all these things will be help out in a version control system. So version control system are a very essential tool in a modern software development. I can say version control is a software that track and manage the changes to the file over the time. So version control system generally allow to user to revisit earlier changes and find out who changes, when the changes, and even he can compare the between the changes also. User can go back to in history, even he can undo the changes also. So version control system is the record changes of the file over the time, right? And it will allow user to revert the specific version, track modification, collaborate with the other. And guys, Git is the one of the version control system. We have the two kind of version control system: centralized version control system and distribution version control system. In a centralized version control system, in a single repository, hold all the version file. User check out the file from his central repository, make the changes, and then check them back in. For example, we have SVN and CVS. Another thing is we have distribution version control system. Every user has complete copy of the repository. Means I have the complete history of that particular repository. Whatever the changes somebody did it, I have the history. I have the history at my local system. This allows for the greater flexibility. A user can work offline and commit the changes to the local repository before pushing them to central server. For example, the Git and the Mercurial. Centralized control system means, guys, actually it will central repository we have. Means if the central repository somehow will be deleted or somehow will be the created or somehow it will polluted, so it can be impacted your version history also. But another side, distribution version control system, there is no such a problem because all the history we have at every developer machines. We have so many version control over the one like Git, SVN, CVSV, and Team Foundation version control also, and so many other also. But Git is the one of the topmost actually. All the 90% of the developer all over the world actually using the Git. So that's why the Git is actually so much popular, and that's why every developer should know about the Git also. So what is the benefit of the version control system? We are getting the collaborating, we are getting the history tracking also, we are branching and merging also. Even we can back up and restore it also, right? We can combine the changes also, we can go back in time travel also, we can revert the previous changes also. So all these things can be possible with the version control system only, right? And what should be the best practice? We should always the commit all changes. We should not do like a way, suppose I'm working on a task and after 7 days or after 10 days I will actually push the changes. We should not do, because in between somebody will push the changes, so that will be the chances of more conflict will become. Meaningful commit message, that is very important, guys. So whenever we'll use any version control, we should write down proper message so that we can recognize and we can go back in a history and check what changes, what somebody did it, right? Use branches. We should always use the branch, like productions we have like QA, QC, and different environment wise also. And even we can make the branches for the ticket wise also, for task wise also, for sprint wise also. As much as we can make the branches, so means we can actually separate our code base to the some other code base, right? Regularly pull the changes. We should always pull the changes so that our local repository should be get updated, and we will get the updated changes in our local also. And if we will do the later on, actually might be chances more conflict will become. Review code, we should be reviewed the code also. Suppose we have the one code base, and guys, I think everybody will play the game also, right? Somewhere in the mobile or some PlayStation, or it could be anywhere also. So what happened when we are playing the digital game, we wanted to save at particular like checkpoint, so that if tomorrow I will play from that particular checkpoint only. So we are saving it continuously, we are saving it, right? So Git is also doing in the same way. So whenever we will do some changes, we can check out it. So that checkout means we called it checkpoint will be created in a history, and anytime we wanted to go back, we can go back it also. Similar to there, here I made actually 2 checkpoint, means 2 things, means one feature I added exactly over here, the one extra feature, and that wasn't exactly earlier, right? And similar to that, I can add actually further also, right? And what happened in between, my company is saying that this changes we should not deliver it, we should be deliver the last changes. So in the Git, through the checkpoint, we can restore any checkpoint also, and we can commit or we can merge with the any other branch or with the any environment branch specific also. Right, so Git is giving us to such a flexibility. According to checkpoint wise, we got a history. So that is the power Git is providing us. Another thing is, in the Git we are making repository. The repository is, guys, nothing. We have the folder, or you can say workspace. There we are managing our files. Right, so Git repository is a storage space where our project and file and their version history are kept. So repository can be local or remote also. And guys, when we will use the Git, means everything we are making local repository only. But when we will use the GitHub service, then we are moving Git history to on a server. So Git is actually one of the, you can say, command line tool, or basically a software that run locally at your machine only. We don't need to register for an account. We don't need to push the changes on an account. Everything we can manage it locally only. But when we wanted to send it to actually on a server, then we will use a GitHub service. That means we are moving on a local to remote. Remote means it will server is hosted somewhere. So Git has GitHub services, or we can use some third party also. These are also using the GitHub service. They made their own service also. They are overwriting for specific product wise, right? So what is the benefit we will get it on the remote repository? We can collaborate with the multiple user. Local means only one developer locally can able to track the changes, right? Change made locally can be pushed to the remote repository, and change from the other can be pulled into local repository. So whatever the change I will do, I can pull it also, I can push it also to remote repository. So whenever we wanted to start a project, after the configuration the user, first thing we need to be initialization the repository. Second is we need to be make some changes, means any changes while doing the development. Then after that we should be commit the changes. Then we should be push the changes to the remote repository, or after that or before also we can pull from the remote repository also. So this is the process. So this is the Git repository workflow. Another thing is, whenever we will commit any changes, the changes will be go on a staging changes. Okay, once we changes will do, actually that will be the part of the staging changes. Once creating a commit, once we will write down a comment or we creating a commit, it will become a history. So viewing commit history, whatever the commit we done, that we can see the history. After the commit it is done, we can revert it also, or either we can push our commit changes also. So this is the way the Git repository management system is working. So next thing is which branch operation to perform. Definitely this is also very big questions. So before starting a development, we should know about which branch we should be start a development. We can switch the branch at any time also. Even we can merge the two branch also. We can create the new branch also. So guys, this is still here all about the theoretical part of the Git. Now we need to be start the installation part and need to run some command on a terminal. And guys, one more thing, Git is actually giving us to terminal and the GUI also. We should be hands on the terminal. So terminal, as we know that it is faster than GUI and give us to more flexibility. We need to be remember the few command and our work will be become easy. Nowadays Visual Studio or some code editor is also helping us to committing. To download the Git, guys, you can go on this particular website and you can download according to your operating system wise. Once you get this download is done, it's a simple step. We need to be just simply run next and simply it will install in our system also. Once it is done, we will get the Git bash also. So bash is actually terminal that is actually giving us to flexibility to run the Linux command. And guys, this is the simple process for Windows. Similar to that, we can install into Mac also. Same way we can install into Linux also. After installation done, we need to configure the Git also. To configure a Git, we need to be run simply these commands. So git config --- global means we are globally configure the Git command. User.name your name. Now your name will be come from where? So your name means you need to be registered on a website also, GitHub. There you can make the username and password. That username we should be given it over here, and that email ID we should be given it over here. Why we need to configure these two things? We need to be configure these two things because when we will commit or when we will send our data on a remote repository from the user, we should be know about which user is sending it, or they can track the user history also. The user recognitions we require, that's why we have git configurations before starting the GitHub. We can do the sign up on one time on a GitHub website. After that, we can do the authentications. One thing I told you, we can do the configuration globally also. Another way also we can do the authentication also. We can use the username password with the two-way authentication or a passkey. Means we can make a one passkey every time. We don't need to be tell us to username password. We can give the passkey and it will authenticate it. We can make a personal access token also or SSH key also. And guys, everybody is using according to their own convenient. For my point of view, SSH is giving us to more flexibility to a developer. One time we can generate SSH key at our local system, and that key we can register on our GitHub account, and every time you don't need to give the username password. You can just give the passkey, or that is also optional, and you can just simply pull and push your changes also. So till here you can prepare a system, you can install the Git also, and you can just go through all this document. Also next video we'll start with the commands. Thanks for watching the video. See you in the next video. Till the time, happy coding.